Replay this song thing one more time. So now you can imagine, but just for a second, give me a second. It's just, so now I go over back to her, you know, so I'm like later. So then one of my jobs, my humble jobs at the center, is to just go take people to the shamans to be sung to, you know. And sometimes Ricardo's like, well, take this one or take that word. Sometimes I have to do it. So then there was a moment where I said, okay, this is the moment I'm going to take Kim and I'm going to take her to Olivia, you know. And I want to see what Olivia can do with her in one night to help her out. So then you go and I check on Kim. Kim, how are you doing? You know, I feel a little altered. You know, she's showing some signs. I'm like, well, get up. And he's like, whoa, you know, you can't. I'm like, okay, Kim, you know, you're in the experience, you know. So we just walk, you know, walk her over, go to the other side, sit her down in front of Olivia. So then Olivia, you know, like all the shamans, and she just stares at her, you know, in the dark for a little while. And she's trying to see her, you know. She's trying to see her. She's trying to see how she's going to help this person detect her energy. So, I mean, you could close your eyes if you wanted to and play this again and just imagine what it would be like, you know, in the pure dark. And the songs are getting going, you know. You hear the jungle in the back. Julian singing right next to you. And Olivia's getting ready, you know. So she receives the song. So she's sitting there doing her thing. So I'm sitting, you know, Olivia sits here, I sit here in between these guys and just watching and seeing what's going to happen. She sits down in front of Olivia, you know, there's that pause, and then Olivia opens up on her. And then about 20 seconds, just torrential downpour of tears, you know, she's just weeping, you know, in front of this song, going on and on and on, you know. Before she was like, I don't really feel anything. And now she's just weeping, and then the vomiting, you know, then she just starts clearing out, you know, God knows what, just starts coming shooting out of her, and then that goes for a while, and then the cough starts coming, you know, and the cough is like, you know, trailing off, the cough is coming out somehow, something's happening, you know. So then that, you know, that's an experience, that's like a 10-minute, I don't know how long she was singing to her, maybe longer, 20 minutes, I have no idea. So then she's done, you know, I pick her up, I'm like, oh, how was that, Kim? She's like, whoa, you know, that was amazing. Like, she was inside of me, and I was inside of her, and it was so beautiful. And, you know, she just had this huge release. So then we can go next. So, you know, she's trying to clean out that pena, you know, what is Olivia seeing? Is she seeing all this? You know, sometimes she is, I'm not sure, but, you know, she's going after some energy stuff, like what Jared is talking about, visualizing, and there's moments like that. And going after that energy with a song and with your intention and using your imagination and your voice to actually interact with that energy and clear it and clean it and push it. And praying, you know, praying for God and the spirits to help you do that. And then having this lady have this big release. So continue. So the song, by the way, you know, there's songs that they know, you know, there's songs they sing Icaros, okay, this is the one, oh, I've heard this one before. And there's music that they've heard, and there's once they've got it from the plants, then maybe they're going to learn one from their master, oh, sing this for this, or sing this for that. But it's also kind of a jazz situation where there's a structure, and then there's improvisation based on what they see. And the song follows the vision. And that's the training, the song follows the vision. So you have to sing out what you're looking at. Oh, look over there, do this, clean this up, sing this, oh, sing that out, sing this. And that's how it works. So, you know, what is all this? So, you know, we can talk about this spectrum of doctor world, the shamanic world, where it's like, oh, she's hallucinating, you know, she's obviously taking a hallucinogen, and so her brain is hallucinating, or is it like a dream? You know, that's kind of in the immaterial, abstract world that our culture is widely accepts, that we all dream, you know, even though we don't understand what it is. Or is she having a vision, an ayahuasca, mystical experience? You know, as she's vomiting, you ask her, you know, what happened? She's like, orange and red rocks were just shooting out of me. You know, that's what it was. She's like, there was no bile, there was no stomach fluid. It was orange and red rocks. And you told Julian, she's like, oh, of course, you know. It's like, it wasn't like she ate something bad. That's not what it is. It's from her life. It's from the story of her life that this stuff is in there. So it has to come out in a story, you know, in the dream. And so then it's like, well, it's this cough, you know, it's this psychosomatic. We could talk about it in doctor terms and say, you know, she has some kind of amygdala in her brain, in the emotional center of her brain, some emotional coding, you know, that's kind of really wrapped things around there, and it's causes diaphragmatic spasm through her autonomics. And yeah, you know, that could very well be the case. Maybe that is exactly what it is. But the question is, how do we approach that, you know? So, or maybe it's just purely like an emotional thing, and she's just disconnected, and her emotional, intuitive wisdom sense that she's like, why am I dealing with this guy? I'm married to this guy. He's cheating on me. Why don't I notice? Is he cheating? I don't know. And just that departure from her values, the accumulated resistance against her wisdom, and something like locked up in there. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Or is it this spiritual wound, you know, this chakra problem, this energy congestion, this blockage? And the thing is, you know, my point in integrative medicine and my ease of working with the shamans is this, that in healing, you know, the purpose of giving a diagnosis, although in the medical world we do diagnose things that for the sake of diagnosis, the purpose, you know, initially in medical work, the intention of diagnosing something is to give yourself something to work with. You know, so if he's going to say the guy's got chi stagnation in his liver meridian, it's because he has a solution for that. Oh, I'm gonna work on that. That's what it is. So if Ricardo says this guy has an octopus wrapped around his brain and is tying his arms down, it's because he's going to sing out that octopus. That's why he's saying it. Because he's trying to help him. He's not just saying it just for the sake of saying this guy has this disease that I don't know what it means. You know, just go on and on from the microscopic, histological, this is what it is. Well, I don't know what to do with it. He's describing it because to work with it. So if she has this spiritual wound and she has this vena in her gut, right here, we're calling it out because that's what she's going to go after, and she's going to clean that thing, you know, with her methods. So that's why. But continue. So then, you know, I'll suggest I'm looking for some kind of models to do that. This isn't probably what you're looking for, but this is what I came up with. But, you know, Ken Wilber is somebody, he's an integrative thinker, author, that's trying to, you know, integrate all the world's spirituality and religions and thought patterns. And so it's like, well, what do we do? You know, if there's physics and biology and psychology, and we can all be comfortable with that in our culture, and that we can put it in the newspaper, and, you know, not ruffle any feathers, but then theology, now we're getting into this mystical realm and the spiritual realm. And so we don't want to address, you know, we don't have to talk about theology, but let's say soul. You know, we can mind is this abstract concept that we don't understand, but it's culturally acceptable to talk about it, even though it's metaphysical. But soul and spirit is like, now if I bring it up at a medical conference, you know, it's frowned upon, even though everyone's living in this world every day, all day, you know, like everyone's had some exposure to this, whether they believe in it or not. At least we have to deal with it, because somebody else believes in it or they've had an experience. So, you know, we can focus on, you know, if we're just, this is the chronic cough and it's, you know, it's in her nerves, or is it a psychosomatic, or, you know, I don't know, a belief system, or, you know, can we go at it here in the mystical realm? And if we can, you know, this is the kind of bandwidth that we're focused on, at least in the ayahuasca ceremony portion of the healing. And there's some people that they need help in that bandwidth, you know, that's why they're coming. You know, our center is already functioning. It's already like, in a year's time, it's supporting itself, you know, based on the work of these healers, because they're effective, you know, they're helping people. Next slide. So I take her back to her spot, you know, and she goes through her process, and then, you know, just to describe more of what goes on in the ceremony. So the idea is that once you clean out some of that issue, and you clean some of the lens, you know, she gets opened up to a wider viewpoint of what's going on with her life. And then with the plants and the healing and the ceremony and the mystical realm that we're working in, again, not to push it on people or say this is what is really going on, but because it's to help her, And she all of a sudden has these realizations, and she has all her ancestors from beyond her parents come to her, and they start giving her the love that she didn't get when she was a kid from her parents. And so then all of a sudden she feels that love and gets that self-love that she didn't think that her family had for her. And then in the visions, her ancestors are saying, no, we do have it for you. It's okay, love yourself all the way. You don't have to settle for second best. So she has that experience, and then she sees her husband and explores his sexual addiction and sees in her visions that he was sexually abused as a child. And then she develops this new compassion, not that she wants to stay with him, but trying to understand like his behavior and what is this about and why does he hide it away and how can he keep this secret so long and all that. And so that's what goes on for her when she goes and sits back at her spot and when she gets cleaned out. So moving on. So then we rest, and then in the morning, the way it is at New Era, we do the ceremony Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then in the morning at 9 a.m. there is a conversation to discuss their treatment. You know, so go, oh, I don't want to sit there and talk about this in front of everybody. And you can talk about it in private, but the point, again, is not just to talk about it and just go, wow, did you see this? Did you see that? It is rounds, you know, like in medicine. It's the same thing. Ricardo, Julian, they want to hear what happened to everybody because they're going to adjust their treatment based on what happened. And that's what we all need to know. So every morning, not all the centers do that, it's something we do that is nice. So we have a conversation, and sometimes that goes from 9 till lunch, you know, and everyone's half asleep because they didn't sleep. But we do it. So I just talked to her 2 weeks ago, this was a few months ago. She still has a little bit of a cough. You know, it was just a one-nighter. I mean, for us, we'd rather she stayed a lot longer. One-nighter, big improvement in her cough. She feels increased support, all this insight, the strength to move forward. She's going through her divorce. And she feels like once it's all settled, she's like, call me in 2 weeks, it's going to be settled, and I think my cough's going to be gone. You know, so we'll see, I'm going to find out. So that's some follow-up. So just clearing and opening, and then all of a sudden it's a lot easier for her to kind of see a world of possibility, a world of hope, you know, a world of spirit, once she has some spiritual cleansing. Continue. So I'm just saying, you know, the allopathic world struggles to find a home for our imagination, our will, and our hope, but it's like there's no way around those things. We need those things to be healthy. You know, so just as a doctor, just because I can't, I mean, obviously I can't talk with my patients that way and it's fine and everyone's great about it. But if I do it at an academic conference, you know, it's frowned upon. And why is it frowned upon when that's what you need sometimes? And everybody knows it. So then I got to go all the way to the Amazon to be myself, you know, to hang out with some Looney Tunes, you know, comments. No. So anyways,